Welcome, my dear viewer, to Dr. Paul Kibicho YouTube channel. Today, I thought it was good for me not only to talk, but to demonstrate what we require to do when it comes to planning for our children's education. This has been an issue. Today, parents are taking back their children to school. Majority of them, as you have heard them complain on the TV, on the radio, they do not even have school fees to pay for their children. It is our responsibility as parents to pay school fees for our children. We understand that some of us, by virtue of us being economically handicapped, we can't afford to pay school fees in full, and therefore sometimes we pay it in bits. But we need to ask ourselves, are there ways? Fine, for those who have suffered in the past, we must accept that that was the case, that was the scenario then. But what do we require to do going forward, especially those parents who have got young children that they require to plan for? The story is not, the narrative is not going to change. Paying school fees has always been an issue. Even when I was in school, it was still an issue. When I was in high school, I was personally sent home for school fees balances 21 record times. I've even documented that. I've never even forgotten. So the question begs, when doctors realized that having an open heart surgery was leaving the patient with more scars, they came up with what we call laser technology. When Mansa Musa, the man from Timbuktu, realized that he was taking more than 7 years to make one deal, somebody called Dedalus and Nicholas came with an aircraft. So I want us to look today at what are we supposed to do to help our children. What are we, as parents, what are we supposed to do to ensure that our children, wherever they are, they go to school comfortably without being sent home for school fees balances? And I want us to create a scenario here, and please pay attention to this, especially those parents with young children. I am a lecturer in a university, as I have told you in the past. I lecture at Tagasa University. I'm a lecturer there, and I know what, and I have gone through school personally. I have children in school, and I'm telling you, paying school fees is one of the most difficult jobs that any parent goes through. Because after every 3 months, you have to pay school fees, you have to give pocket money, and other accessories that comes alongside your child going to school. So today, I want us to look at what are we supposed to do to ensure that our children go to school without any hassles or without any problems. If you pay attention to this explanation, it will make your work easier and you'll have a reason to smile. So we are going to use what we call the law of assumption. So we assume that you have a child by the name Clarice. Let us use the name Clarice. Clarice Millie. So this child by the name Clarice Millie, she's actually 3 years of age. So you have a child who is 3 years old. This child who is 3 years old has got 1 year to go to what we call PP1. PP1. This child has 1 year to go to PP1, and then the child will be in PP1 for 1 year, and PP2 up to PP2 when the child transits to grade 1. Note that. So you have 2 years here. This is because the child is 3 years. The child has got 1 year to go to PP1 plus 2 years for PP1 and PP2. So those are 3 years. Then the child has got what we call from grade 1 up to grade 6. These are 6 more years. So add 6 years here. So those are 9 years before the child joins what we call junior high school, according to the current CBC. Please pay attention. So this child has got 3 years to clear PP2, because the child, we have taken an example that the child is 3 years. This child has got 1 year to go to PP1, and then for PP1 and PP2, these are 2 years. So those are 3 years. Then the child from grade 1 up to grade 6, these are 6 years. So meaning that God has given you 9 years. Then the child has got 3 years. Junior high, it is taking 3 years, because we have junior high year 1, junior high year 2, and junior high year 3. Then from there, the child will proceed to senior high year 1, senior high year 2, senior high year 3 before the child joins university. Hope you are still together. These are 6 years. Add 6 years here. So God has given you 15 years to start planning on how you can educate your child comfortably without going for loans from the circle, without going for loans from the bank, and without actually seeking assistance from individuals. So what are we supposed to do? Pay attention here. So what we require to do, we have already seen that you require to start paying school fees for the child from junior high year 1, junior high year 2, junior high year 3, and therefore you require to have a 15-year plan that will see through the child up to university. Let's now look at this particular explanation. Please pay attention. Please pay attention. I'm your teacher today, taking you through this discussion, which is very, very important. So the company I represent, which I will be mentioning shortly, right now, has come up with an education plan. And this education plan, it is called Super E. Note that and highlight that. The program is called Super E. This Super E, what happens with super education? We shall come here and put you under the umbrella. I want to explain the difference between having an account for your child in a bank and having an education policy for your child. Please pay attention once again. So what we do here, we shall divide this umbrella into two. One side of the umbrella will be what we call guaranteed education for the child, guaranteed education side. And then, so that's what we call now, we can even call it here investment, here. Then on the other side of the umbrella, we shall have what we call protection. So I'll start by asking you one question. What is the purpose of an umbrella under normal circumstances? The purpose of an umbrella is to offer what to protect you against either rain or sunshine. So note that we use an umbrella to protect us against what we call rain or sunshine, hot sunshine for that matter. But in our case here, we know that in life there are so many unforeseen eventualities that may hit you along the way. So to ensure that your child is secure, that is why I have put an umbrella under. So you are here, for instance, this is Baba Clarice, this is Mama Clarice, this is Clarice and other children, quite a number of them there, several. So this is the man now, I can even call myself here Kibisho, who is holding the umbrella on behalf of my family. Note that. So what happens, my wife is also here. Although my wife is not getting a direct cover from this particular education plan, she is also part of the umbrella. I'll explain shortly. So what happens, we are going to assume, now please note this, and I have told you many times, note this. If you take your child to a good academy, it is costing between 70,000 to 100,000 shillings per term. And I'm not mentioning Riara, I'm not mentioning Riara Academy, I'm not mentioning Makini Academy, I'm not mentioning Pioneer, Nova, Pioneer Nova. I'm not mentioning what we call this one in Molanga, St. Thomas. No. I'm only mentioning about an ordinary academy. It is between 70,000 to 100,000 shillings. So what we'll do here, basically, is that we shall come and assume we are going to give you a value of an umbrella which is worth 100,000 shillings, 1 million Kenya shillings. This 1 million Kenya shillings is what insurance companies refer to as the sum assured. Sum assured, or the principal sum. You can even call it the principal sum. Hope we are together up to that point. So this value, well, the sum assured will depend on a number of factors. Number one, what is your current age as the father or mother to this particular child? Number two, how much can you afford? Number three, where do you envisage your child going to school to? So we assume that you have taken a cover worth 1 million shillings, which we refer to as the sum assured or the principal sum. So once you start paying this money for this child called Clarice Mary today, so that by the time Clarice Mary is joining junior high, year 1, we start paying school fees for you. And this is how we do it. Kindly parents, take note of this. And I know by the end of it all, you'll just take your phone and call me, because we need to make work easier. Why did Chinese came with people, engineers came up with a crane? It is basically to make work easier. You can imagine somebody carrying a whole 50 kg bag of cement to that 7th floor or 47th floor. So they made it easier by coming up with a claim, or a lift for that matter. I'm also giving you what we call an education claim. And even before I explain this, note this. We normally say a journey of 1,000 miles starts with a single step. And there's also an adage that goes like this, kwa Kiswahili, haba na haba hujaza kibaba. So by the time Clarice is joining junior high school year 1, this company of ours will come and give the first check to pay for the whole year. For junior high school year 1, we will come and give a check of 150,000 shillings. What do I mean here? We say we'll come and give 15% of the value of the sum assured. The value of the sum assured was 1 million. So I'm saying on the 9th year when your child is joining, junior high, so you have paid for 9 years. So come the 9th year, our company will release to you 15% of 1 million. 15% of 1 million is 150,000 shillings. That is enough money to take your child through what we call junior high. And this money will be paid to you timely. We don't delay. Now, on the 10th year, we have what we call junior high year 2. Junior high year 2. We come and give you another 15% of 1 million, which is 150,000 shillings. So you pay the school fees for the whole year. Wonderful. Note that and underline. So we pay the school fees for the whole year. Now, when the child is joining on the 11th year, junior high year 3 will come and pay 20%. Now, the percentage goes up. Why? Because the needs of the child and the inflation goes up. So we come and pay 20% of this, which is 200,000 shillings for junior high year 3. So we have already paid for junior high year 1, 150,000 shillings. Junior high year 2, 150,000 shillings. Junior high year 3, 200,000 shillings. Now, on the 12th year, we come and give another check now of 20% of this. That is senior high year 1. So senior high year 1, we pay another check of 200,000 shillings so that your child can continue standing without any interruption whatsoever. How beautiful it is. Now, on the 13th year, when your child is joining senior high year 1, year 2, we come and give you another higher check now. So we come and give you a check of 300,000 shillings because now we basically pay 30% of this. 30% of the principal sum is 300,000 shillings. Then on the 14th year, when the child is joining senior high year 3, we come and give you now here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yes. We come here and pay you. When the child is clearing senior high year 3, we come and give the remainder of 300,000 shillings. We give you another 30% of 300,000 shillings. And because we do not know which course your child will be pursuing in the university, because the child has already cleared this is what we call grade 9, grade 10, grade 11, grade 12, grade 13, grade 14. At grade 14, when the child is transiting to university, we also come and give you, so we'll pay you 300,000 shillings plus the principal sum of 1 million shillings so that you can be able to take your child to the university. So we pay in total 1.3 million shillings. Has the child completed his or her education? Has Clarice Mary cleared school? Oh yes, without stress, without depression, you have educated your child. So imagine, by only putting aside, and here, we are assuming that you are putting aside maybe a minimum of 500 shillings per day. So you're only putting aside 500 shillings per day. If you multiply by 30, you are only giving us approximately 15,000 shillings to educate your child like this. So what we are doing here basically is to ensure that your child goes to school without being sent home for school fees balance. And again, I'm coming to the other side. This money will be paid to you on time. So you're not be going to take a loan, an emergency loan, a capital loan, no loan whatsoever, but the child goes to school comfortably. Now, let's come to the other side of the umbrella. So those payments are being made to you as the parent. We don't pay the school fees to the school. We pay the school fees to the parent, to Baba Clarice Mary. Why? It is the one who knows how much money the school requires and how you want to manage your finances anyway when that money comes into your heart. So you see, we have walked a journey with you for that long. The child's education has been taken care of. Now, tomorrow is a dream to all of us. Nobody knows what tomorrow has for him or her. So supposing after paying for 1 month, note this, supposing after giving us money for 1 month, you are a record in heaven for further deployment, if you understand what I mean by that. Supposing after paying for only one month, God calls you home. Those things do happen. So in case God calls you home, assuming you had even paid for 6 months, assuming you had even paid for 1 year, and something happens to you, what we do as a company, which I'll give you the name shortly, is that we come, the value of the sum assured was 1 million. Maybe you have only paid for 6 months and something terrible has happened that has cost you your life. Maybe God has called you home for further deployment. So what we do is that first of all, we come and pay half the value of the umbrella. So we pay to the next of kin. I don't like talking of the next of kin. I like talking about what we refer to as the legal personal representative from a legal perspective. So the person who is called here the next of kin, the beneficiary, the nominee, in my case here, because Clarice Mary is my daughter, my wife, will be paid $500,000 so that Clarice can continue studying. Now, the other thing that we do, our scheme has what we call UKF. UKF basically means Unfortunate Kite Fund. In technical terms, we refer to this benefit as waiver of premium. Waiver of premium means because God has called you home, you're not there to pay the premiums. You don't pay the premiums any longer, but the Unfortunate Kite Fund takes effect, meaning you don't pay any more money, but we'll be paying from a pool. We have a pool of those people who encounter risks. So we pay $500,000 to the next of kin, and school fees will still be paid when it falls due, as it was the case during the inauguration of this particular program. So in case of natural death, we pay half the principal sum, half the sum assured. In the case of natural death, that comes to $500,000, but the education of your child is still guaranteed. And that is why I did you this umbrella. In the event God calls you home through an accident, God forbid, in case it's an accidental death, what the company, what the framers of the policy have done, they will come and pay the family members the full value of the umbrella, which is 1 million Kenyan shillings. Once this amount of money is paid, the contract comes to an end. So it's our hope that the person that you have put here as your next of kin will be responsible enough to take care of that money, because unlike natural death that pays half the sum assured and it continually pays the school fees to the beneficiary, in case of accidental death, we pay the full value of the umbrella, that is the full value of the sum assured, but the policy comes to an end. If you are retired on medical grounds, if a doctor goes and writes a letter and says that this particular individual can't work any longer because of either total disability, whatever may actually deprive you of from acting and earning, will come and say, we apply the same. So waiver of premium takes effect, no more payment of premiums, but the child's education is guaranteed. My dear viewer, let me first of all ask you a question. Which is the best reward that you can give to your child? Which is the best reward that you can give to your child today? The best and the most interesting love letter that you can ever write to your children is by taking this particular product. This product called Super E, it is being offered by a company that all of us people know, the company with the most beautiful building in Nairobi, that is called Britam. So Britam is the company that offers Super E. If you are interested in knowing more about this education plan for your child, kindly don't hesitate, because that is the only thing that you can give to your child, honestly. You can give your child a piece of land that he sells even before you decompose in your grave. You can give your child a very expensive car, but the car he'll sell it. But the only thing that cannot be transferred in a haphazard manner is education. And this is the way, because nobody knows what tomorrow has for him or her. So what do? We need, therefore, to ensure that we take care of our children's education. Very, very important. This is the plan to have. Super E is the plan to have, and Super E is offered by Britam, and I happen to be the financial consultant for Britam. So in case you're interested in knowing more about this particular program, please make sure that you call me wherever you are. I'll come, whether in Mombasa, whether in Eldoret, I'll come, because that is where the company pays me. Call me on 0722 633 021. Please call me on 0722 633 021. I repeat for the third time. Please, if you are interested in having your child educated this way, please call me on 0722 633 021. With Britam, we say at Britam, with you all the way. So make sure that you secure your child's education. And just before I terminate my conversation with you, let me give you a few scenarios that will make you call me immediately once you hear about this particular program. In the year 1998, 7th August 1998, we lost 257 Kenyans through what we call the bombing of the bomb blast at the Copper. You know where? Moi Avenue. We lost 257 people. They were not bachelors, they were not spinsters. They had children. So the only thing that saved maybe the families who had an idea of what I have told you are the ones who had initiated a program for their families. You know what happened at Westgate? You know what happened at Garissa University? And you're aware what has been happening along Thika Road. Since Thika Superhighway was built and constructed, we have lost thousands of Kenyans. They're not bachelors and spinsters. It is better, please organize now or agonize later. Please take up your phone, give me a shout, and I'll explain to you this program once again and ensure that you secure the education of your child. Britam with you all the way. And the financial consultant is none other apart from Dr. Paul M. Kebicho, PhD QB HSC Ajip IT. I'm an expert in this. I have done it for 30 years. I have not disappointed. You'll not be the first person to be disappointed by Dr. Paul Kebicho. Please, if you have a child that you're watching me on my YouTube channel, don't hesitate. Tomorrow is not yours. If you check this newspaper, this is today's newspaper. I have not even read this newspaper. I want to remind you something here, ladies and gentlemen, as I conclude my talk. If you look at this page, these are the people who voted or they never voted. I can see somebody here by the name Engineer Joshua Maido Diangui. I can see somebody here by the name Charity Gathoni Jero. I can see somebody here by the name Walim James Masharia Kafugi. Helen Nyakero Gathoni. Luce Lekanon Fiakona Sino Wafula. Engineer John Masako Kemoyo. These were people, they had children. Nobody had planned to be this page. These are people who have left behind their children. So people fear talking about death. Death is with us. Death is certain. The only uncertainty about death, it is when it will strike. If you became the subject matter of this newspaper today, how secure are your children? Don't hesitate to call me, because I have said, organize now or agonize later. The choice is yours. May God bless you as you give me a shout. Thank you so much.